I'm Vikramaditya. Welcome to Softech. And in this session, I'm going to discuss the most commonly frequently used SAP interview question and answers, which are related to all the modules. It's not specific to a particular module and not specific to any particular uh, experience. These questions, which I inculcated into this video, can be asked for a fresher to even 15 to 20 years of experience guys of any module, and these are the very common questions for all the modules. So and this information, even if you're not attending for the interviews, this information is very much useful for your projects as well. Okay, so let's start now. Going ahead with the interview question and answers, I'd like to request you all to subscribe to our channel youtube.com/Softech. And if at all, if you have any training requirements, if you'd like to go through any trainings, you can contact us at training@softech.com. And if you're looking for jobs, you can contact us at jobs@softech.com. And do comment so that we know what exactly you'd like to know, what you'd like to have it in next video. Okay, so let's start. And if you like this video, please do share it with your friends as well. What is SAP HANA? SAP HANA is an in-memory database and application development platform for processing high volumes of data in real time. It is SAP's highest portfolio product. SAP HANA enables data analysts to query large volumes of data in real time. HANA's in-memory computing database infrastructure frees analysts from having to load or write backup data. What HANA database versions do we have? Basically, all SAP S4 HANA products like SAP S4 HANA, BW for HANA, and almost all SAP softwares now operates on HANA. HANA is in itself been pronounced popularly as HANA, but a few analysts also give the abbreviation of it as High Performance Analytical Appliance Database. The HANA database will end their maintenance of the 1.0 version by May 2021. So this happens to be the first version of it. The first phase of HANA database was 1.0, and the second phase of it is 2.0. So in 2.0 was launched recently, and it has got a lot of features, new features that we have here. And I'm going to go walk through all the versions of SAP HANA database. Now 1.0, we have service packs 12, I mean to say service pack 1 to 12. In this we have revisions, around 122 revisions we had, and HANA database 2.0 has the service pack 05 revisions 50. So we have the last service pack of SAP HANA will have 5-year long term maintenance term, which will be supported through June 2025 from now onwards. Now these are the versions in detail again. SAP came up with HANA 1.0 way back in 2010, and it was launched into the market officially in 2011. And there we had a lot of service packs like service pack 12, and this was regularly revised for almost 5 years. And this is a predictable platform with no disruptions path. And then SAP HANA 2.0 was launched officially in November 2016. In fact, like it was announced in 2015. And then we have various versions of it, the service packs, which we see right now as service pack 5 and above. What is SAP S4 HANA? SAP S4 HANA is a future-ready enterprise resource planning system with built-in intelligent technologies, including the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and advanced analytics as well imbibed into the single platform. It transforms business processes with intelligent automation and runs on SAP HANA platform, a market-leading in-memory database that offers real-time processing speeds and a dramatically simplified data model. What is the difference between ECC and S4HANA? We all know that S4HANA is the next version of ECC. Having said that, there are a lot of features which have been imbibed into S4HANA which were not at all possible in ECC. So ECC and its older versions of R3 used to run on any platform, any database. It was database independent. For example, it could have run on Oracle, it could have run on SQL database or whatever. But S4 HANA runs on built-in HANA database only. So you cannot run S4 HANA on any other database other than the HANA database. HANA database is developed by SAP, and S4 HANA is an application which runs on the SAP HANA database. Now, why SAP S4 HANA? We already had ECC, which was very successful throughout the world, but why SAP S4 HANA? All over the world, SAP S4HANA is quickly becoming SAP's most successful ERP system, and S4HANA is the fourth ERP suite developed by SAP. So, for over 4 decades, enterprise resource planning software has been the core of SAP's business model. So, SAP S4HANA's unique architecture is quite a contrast from the classical relational database. It runs on in-memory database with data stored in columns, allowing for faster, near to real-time analytics and compute capabilities. Stepping away from merely recording data, SAP S4HANA focuses on providing end-user active decision support in real time. That is data-driven and takes into consideration both internal and external source of data. For this, I'll just take a quick example for us to understand it more better way. If let's say you go to a shopping mall and they have implemented SAP S4HANA throughout their chain of shopping malls throughout the country, then if you give your card and they swipe it and they get all your details with the details that have been displayed to them on the screen, immediately they get a list of all the products that you have purchased in the previous visit, and they again the because S4 HANA is also linked with AI, immediately it pops up suggestions of what are the products you regularly take which you might have forgotten this time. So the representative of the supermarket immediately asks you, would you like to take that particular product right now because you always consume that on a regular basis, so you can go back and take that. So and with this, what happens is the business is immediately enhanced. They have more business right now as they are suggesting the right kind of a products which you might have forgotten or you might have an offer for. So for example, maybe you already have a pack of coffee, a coffee powder, and you just wanted to you didn't want to take a coffee powder, but if they suggest you that with the coffee powder they have a free glass something, then you say, okay, probably I'll take it this time because maybe it can be used in future because they have a good offer right now. So in this way it enhances the business immediately with quick decisions. So this is the power of SAP S4HANA. Now, what are the benefits of SAP S4HANA? The four, I mean to say, the four major uh, advantages of S4HANA is simplification, ease of use, cost effectiveness, and innovation. So when we say simplification, I can explain that detailedly right now, and in the interview also you can go ahead and explain them in detail if at all if they are waiting for your elaborate answer. If they cut short you, then you just stop with the main points of benefits of SAP S1. That would be simplification, ease of use, cost effectiveness, and innovation. But in case if they are still expecting a detailed explanation of it, you can go ahead and explain simplification. What exactly is a simplification? SAP S4HANA brings out immense simplification to the management and administration of the IT landscape. In fact, simplicity is the one of the key features of SAP which has brought into its ECC application structure. So SAP S4HANA enables the centralizing of hardware and networking resources and serves as the digital core of business process simplification by harnessing the power of its HANA in-memory database. When it comes to simplification at the business end, I can just give you a example of they unifying, centralizing all the tables. Let's say we have 20 different tables where the data used to store, and that data might have been repeatedly stored in multiple number of tables. Instead of that, SAP has enhanced in such a way that all the data will be stored in a single central database table, which can in turn be accessed in any of the tables, just like a view access it from a database table, and in turn that can be used in any of the screens. So this centralization of data has improved the performance as well, and it also saves a lot of memory space. Ease of use, Fiori, in fact, like we are right now using Fiori 3.0, provides a modern design for a completely innovative user experience, enabling users to easily access overview pages, work lists, and list reports. SAP Fiori's UI, the user interface, is designed specifically to be highly intuitive, personalized, responsive, and simple, which allows users to prompt questions and access required details regardless of device or deployment. Now, cost effectiveness. Adopting S4HANA is a smart move as far as cost effectiveness is concerned. You have the ability to bring together all the analytics and transactional capabilities of a variety of systems onto one location. This enables immensely better decision making. Innovation, SAP S4HANA sets the stage for future innovations. Technology is evolving rapidly, which means that merely keeping up doesn't cut it anymore. Enterprises have to stay ahead of the curve and make decisions that are future ready. The decisions have to be fast and prompt. So S4HANA application leverages speed, context, and data accessibility like never before. Improved performance and speed. So S4HANA enables improved performance of by allowing you to plan, execute, generate reports and analytics based on live data, as well as triggering period closing and in providing improved predictions. It also enables our organization to provide better services to the customer-centric applications. Now, what are the deployment options of SAP S4HANA? There are basically popularly three deployment options. Additionally, we can also go for hybrid deployment, wherein a part of it would be a cloud and a part of it would be on-premise. So let's start with on-premise. So the complete coverage tailored for the enterprise, full scope. In on-premise, the entire system configurations, hardware, everything will be in the premises of the client. And full scope, all industry solutions, configure, extend and modify, customer infrastructure, and yearly innovation cycle. It has got traditional perpetual licensing. Now in private cloud, we have the SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud, complete coverage with accelerated deployment, full scope, all industry solutions, configurations and extensions, SAP infrastructure, yearly innovation cycle, subscriptions or perpetual licensing. In public cloud, focused coverage for accelerated innovation, standardized processing, configure and extend within boundaries, SAP infrastructure, quarterly innovation cycle, and subscription licensing. Now, what are the versions of SAP S4HANA? SAP S4HANA had considerably improved its performance from in all the ways way back from 2014 to till date. In 2014, SAP first came up with a HANA platform softwares as Simple Finance 1.0 finance module only. This was launched in March 2014. And then in 2015, they came up with S4HANA Finance 1503, which happens to be a slightly advanced version of the Finance, SAP Simple Finance. Then we have S4HANA 1511, the first full suite version, which was launched in 2015 November. Now, the first two digits represents the year in which it was launched, and the last two digits represents the month. So here 15 means 2015, 11 means the month 11, that would be November. And then in 2016, we had the first cloud version was being launched, which happens to be S4 HANA 1603. And then they immediately in the month of May in 2016, SAP had launched S4 HANA Finance 1605 and also S4 HANA, S4 HANA Cloud as well 1605. Then SAP launched S4 HANA Cloud for 1608. S4 HANA 1610 has been the on-premise edition, and S4 HANA 1611 again happens to be the cloud edition. And SAP has releasing is been continuously releasing cloud platforms on a quarterly basis, whereas the on-premise version on a yearly basis. And these additional additions that SAP is making automatically is enabled at the cloud level. Now, the on-premise is still going on to the S4 HANA 1909 is there. And in the S4 HANA cloud, we have S4 HANA 2021 as well right now. 2120, sorry, 2102. 2102 is the latest version of SAP Cloud. Now the question might not be so big, but we should be all knowing about the versions of S4 HANA so that we can answer any of this. Like maybe the question might be like, what version of on-premise did you work on or something like that. So we should be aware of all the versions. Now, what is Fiori? In simple words, let me explain in one sentence what exactly is SAP Fiori. SAP Fiori is the user interface or user experience that supplements and or can replace the SAP GUI. I repeat, and or. So why do I say and or is because in some cases SAP GUI, whatever we access from SAP GUI can be accessed by SAP Fiori, but what all we can do from SAP Fiori cannot be done from SAP GUI. So now we have SAP Fiori is a new user experience for SAP software and applications. It provides a set of applications that are used in regular business functions like work approvals, financial applications, calculation applications, and various self-service applications. Now, what is the difference between SAP GUI? Some of us all call it as GUI, and Fiori. Fiori offers a number of clear benefits over SAP GUI, including better productivity and multi-device task of workflows. In architectural terms, Fiori gives you the advantage of RESTful APIs, which are more fluid and easily connected than the traditional SAP application integration tools. Fiori is projected to replace SAP GUI, particularly in organizations that are migrating to HANA and S4 HANA. This is mostly the result of a better UX overall, developed to enhance the new database. The older GUI is comparatively bulky and difficult to learn. Fiori is built in HTML5. As a result, it has the kind of seamless movements and controls you expect from a modern mobile application. So the screens are simple, clean in design, matching what users expect from the today's applications. Now, what are the versions of SAP Fiori? SAP Fiori was launched officially in 2013, and then in 2014 and 15 they slightly enhanced it, and they had a SAP Blue Crystal version involved in it, SAP Fiori 1.0. SAP 2.0 was launched in 2016 when we have the bellies deep uh, look, and we have the SAP Copilot as well. It's been launched in 2017. And then in 2019, SAP Fiori launched the SAP Quartz Lite version, which happens to be SAP Fiori 3. So on a broader version, we had SAP Fiori 1.0, 2.0, and now we have 3.0. Now, what is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? This is a very important question, which actually comes into our scope from every module point of view, because previously only BW guys used to learn this bit, but now every one of us have to know what is OLTP, OLAP, because uh, this is a part and participle of the entire S4 HANA platform, or we mean to say HANA platform. So OLTP, let me tell you, before reading out the differences, let me tell you that OLTP is actually equivalent to our SAP ECC 6.0, which happens to be a software which is used for running the business. Any software which is used for running the business is a OLTP software. Any software which is used for analysis is called OLAP software. Now, now let's get into the full form of it. OLTP stands for Online Transactional Processing. OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing, and that happens to be any data warehousing solution in the market. Source of data, operational data. OLTPs are the original source of data, means if any business transaction happens, that is first entered into the OLTP system. An OLAP system data is primary data comes from the OLTP systems. When all the data is stored and consolidated, that consolidated data will be loaded into the OLAP system. And purpose of the data is to control and run fundamental business tasks. OLAP system to help with planning, problem solving, and decision support. And what the data we have reveals a snapshot of ongoing business process. So any business process is happening, that data is ought to be updated into OLTP system. Whereas OLAP system is used for planning, problem solving, and decision support. And this is like we basically have a snapshot of the data. It is like two-dimensional data being stored. Here we have multi-dimensional views of various kinds of business activities that have been in the OLAP system. And inserts and update, how do we insert? So short and fast inserts and updates initiated by end users. So end users actually update the data. In fact, like whenever the business is happening, they update it and get the work done to the next level. So periodic long running batch jobs refresh the data. Queries. So relatively standardized and simple queries returning relatively few records are being run on the OLTP system, whereas extremely complex queries involving aggregations and all can be run on OLAP system. And processing speed, typically very fast in OLTP. It has to be very fast because the business is happening and it should be very fast. In fact, like the customer is waiting in front of the employer, he cannot make him wait for a long time just because of the system is slow. So the system have to be impressively fast. But whereas when it comes to OLAP system, depends on amount of data involved, batch data refreshes and complex queries may take many hours. Query speed can be improved by creating indexes. So space requirement can be relatively small if historical data is archived, and OLAP system depends on amount of data involved and larger due to the existence of aggregation structures, and historical data requires more indexes than the OLTP system. Now, database design highly normalized with many tables. Now, in OLAP system, typically denormalized with fewer tables, use of star join and all. Using that techniques, we actually have a denormalized fewer tables. Backup and recovery. Backup religiously operational data is critical to rerun the business. Data loss is likely to entail significant monetary loss and legal liability. But whereas in the OLAP system, instead of regular backups, some environments may consider simply reloading the OLTP data as a recovery method. Now, the conclusion here is that OLTP and OLAP system were two different systems prior to the introduction of the latest HANA platform. But now, after the HANA database and HANA platform being introduced, both OLTP OLAP are sitting on the same database. So we don't have to actually shuffle the data from here to there and then take a decision. So since we say that's the reason we are saying it's a near to real time data for decision making. What do I mean by that is that with the data which has been updated in the business is accessible, is ready to be taken a decision on. Now, what is activate methodology? The SAP activate methodology is the next generation agile approach that delivers ready to run business processes optimized for SAP S/4HANA software implementations with a reference solution designed for continuous innovation. It offers an iterative implementation with frequent validations. It also provides best practices for migration, integration, and configuration for S/4HANA. It supports different types of deployment, such as new implementation, system conversion, and landscape transformation as well. So Activate includes six distinct phases in its implementation methodology. So we were already aware of ASAP methodology, Accelerated SAP methodology, which was very popular in SAP, all the projects. But now SAP has introduced a new methodology, Activate methodology, which is the complementary package for the SAP S/4HANA softwares. Now, what are the phases in Activate methodology? Discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. These are the phases that we have. So you can just uh, uh, make a trick to easily remember these phases. Like I normally make a just simple trick to see remember it for a longer time. Like discover. So I normally remember this discover with the discovery channel, and in discovery channel preparation is going on. A cameraman is preparing his camera to explore, and then he realized that there is a lion in front of him, and then immediately he deploys the camera and runs the camera. So it's like something like that. So now if you have a pictorial memory in your mind of this, it'll be easy for us to recollect that. So we have a camera, we have a channel. That channel is discovery channel, discovery, and then the camera man is actually preparing, and then he's exploring, and he realizes that there is a lion, and then he immediately deploys the camera and runs it. So something like that. Activate methodology, how much time will it take for the entire Activate methodology implementation project to go ahead? Now the prepare phase, which the first phase happens to take 1 week, explore 2 to 3 weeks, realize 4 to 10 weeks, in fact even more than that, 10 weeks, and deploy 11 and 12 weeks, and run, we do it after the deployment. So these are the steps that we have, and it will take somewhere around roughly 12 to 15 weeks to uh, give the complete product with the customization, configurations, and all the developments. We can do it to the client in around 15 months, 15 weeks. So prerequisites to learn SAP Fiori, if at all if you would like to learn SAP Fiori. uh, Actually this question cannot be like that, like what are the prerequisites to learn SAP Fiori, but when they ask you about SAP Fiori, uh, you should be knowing that these are the following requirements to learn SAP Fiori. So SAP ABAP program and objects, HTML5, JavaScript, SAP UI5, ERP implementation experience, OData and SAP NetWeaver Gateway, and SAP HANA. You need not be an expert of all these things, but at least you should be aware of the basics. What is UI5? So UI5 is SAP UI5 is a JavaScript based framework that is used to design multi-platform business applications. It supports various data models and views to desktop and mobile applications. So SAP UI5 compiles on OpenAjax and can be combined with JavaScript libraries. So SAP UI5 was initially named Phonics, and that was later changed to SAP UI5 in 2011. Other than SAP UI5, we also have OpenUI5, which can take in contributions from all the developers throughout the world. But SAP UI5 strictly others to the deployment of only SAP solutions. So it's not the development community contribution. It cannot take the developer community contributions. SAP UI5, it's a closed platform, and Fiori is in fact designed under the UI5 concept. So you can say that Fiori is a subtopic of UI5. So what are the different types of SAP projects? We all know this question answer, but I'm still want to discuss it here. So we have implementation project, support and maintenance project, upgradation project, and we also have the migration project. Migration project is something which we have. I'm going to discuss in detail about these types of projects in the other video, and I'm going to keep that links in the description of this video. So what is in-memory database? This is a very important question which has been regularly asked in many of the interviews. As HANA happens to be an in-memory database, right? So an in-memory database means all the data from the source system is stored not just in the hard disk but also in RAM memory. I repeat, it's not just in the hard disk that is stored, it is also stored in RAM. Please don't assume that the data will be stored only in RAM. No, data is stored in database as well as parallelly it is stored in RAM as well. In a conventional database system, all data is stored in hard disk only, and it provides faster access of data to multi-core CPUs for information processing analysis. So what happens is, like, when you have the data only in database, the RAM would always go to the database and bring that data which you are actually expecting at that particular moment of time. When you're trying to access some data, RAM goes and brings the data and temporarily stores it on in the RAM and then shows it to you. So remember, simple concept here, that whatever you see on the screen is actually stored in RAM. Without the data being stored in RAM, you cannot see it on the screen. So in that way, if you see, if I'm saying that database, whatever is data is saved in the database is already there stored in the RAM, it more than 4 billion records can be processed in less than a second, because everything, all the data is just lying. Assume that all the data is lying just behind the screen. It's as good as that. So what is parallel processing? Parallel processing is a divide and conquer strategy where each core of the processor represents a unit of parallelization, and that can accept and sort a card sort of thing. In some cores, such as Intel Xeon CPUs we use with HANA, it is possible to sort two cards at a time using hyper-threading. So each core represents two units of parallelism. So if there is a very big task, let's say suppose that you are processing a table with a billion records, that billion records data will not be processed by a single core. That will be again shared, that load will be shared by multiple cores, and it is processed in parallel. So that's the reason it's called parallel processing. And now what are the SAP HANA features? HANA features in the sense SAP HANA database features. So we have database services, we have analytics and data processing, application deployment and development, and data access, integration and quality, administration and IT operations, security, multi-engines. Now, congratulations. So you have patiently come till here. You heard the entire video. That's great. That's the first sign of you very soon getting a break or a change over your job. I'm sure you're going to get it. And if there is any suggestion, please do write in the comment box. And also, I am trying to implement all the very valuable comment and suggestions that have been given to me in the comment box of our videos. Thank you so much for encouraging me, and I'll try to do my level best and make sure that I help as many number of people as possible. And my motive is to make sure that as many number of people should get employed in the best way possible. Maybe if you're already working, I expect you to have a better career than this. And if at all, if you still are looking for anything which is missing in the channel, please let me know. I'll try my level best to do it whenever it is possible. And if there are any real-time kind of a stuff, we already have a lot of playlists in our channel which you can go through, and I'll be more than happy to assist you in any other way. Thank you. Have a great day. And please do not forget to share this video with your friends, guys. It might help someone to make a career.